Welcome to the Jobnik.
Part of the reason we're here is because of the eruption of anti-Semitism on American campuses, and many American campuses, since October 7. We have been seeing rallies, even with professors, where there are chants, Yemen, Yemen, make me proud, turn another ship around. That's actually also negative America. Or from the river to the sea, Palestine will be Arab. Or death to the Zionist state. And my question, what is the relationship between, if any, between anti-Semitism and the Palestinian-Israeli conflict?
I got it. You know, anti-Semitism is wrong in principle. We cannot generalize the people. You know, the Jewish people are very peaceful people. It's not that, you know, I worked for Israel for 10 years undercover, you know, and many people, this is why they label me as a traitor, and they say that this is bias and this is not credible, etc., whatever they want to say. But this was my experience in a democratic system and democratic establishment where Israel values the human life. We were in so many critical situations where civilians were involved. The war in Gaza, the recent one, this is an exception because like how many foot soldiers you can risk, you know, in order for you to eradicate such group, you know, who built hundreds of miles of tunnels and turned every household, every hospital, every school into a shooting pad. It's an unimaginable situation, such a crisis. When we were in operation, we had a terrorist sometimes, and his daughter was in the car. We had been looking for the terrorist for 6 months, and he was flying below our radar. And when finally surfaced and we were able to locate him, I was part of the operation. He got in the car, and his daughter was in the car. So I called the operation room and I said, his daughter in the car. And the operation was canceled immediately. This is the Israeli intelligence I know. We follow protocol. Why would we want to target any civilian? It's insane. For 10 years. This is a 10-year experience with the Israeli intelligence that they've been accused right now of killing Gazan civilians. It's not possible. But what Hamas did in Gaza also is beyond impossible. And many people took advantage of the situation. They found an opportunity to blame and attack the successful minority. It's not a secret that Jewish people are very successful people. And now everybody had an issue or they have a situation, they try to settle their differences in a very mean way. While Israel is fighting an existential fight, they came to stab Israel in the back and the Jewish people in the back. If I had to say Israel, what's the fault of the Jewish people in the United States? What did they do? Why harass them? Why accuse them of the genocide? Why to go after them? They're not the government. They're just the people. So this shows you that these people see the ones who are accusing the Jews, the Zionists. What's this? The Zionists, it's a legitimate political organization in the United States. It's a legal one. Everything they do is open to the public. It's not secret. There is no conspiracy. But people make a conspiracy out of everything. So I don't know how to stop this. This is the human delusion. And this is how people twist the narrative. In fact, if you just look, what happened on October 7 by all standards is a genocide. I've been to those places. I saw all the footage, the raw images. that public did not see. What they did was ethnic cleansing. But you know, the victim, the only victim of a genocide, did not complain about it. And the only victim in this situation is Israel. And the Jewish people cannot talk about it. You know why? Because it's a trauma. No one in the Jewish community wants to admit that they have failed again. And they allowed another genocide to happen to the Jewish people with all the preparations that they had. It's just a sense of guilt that they don't want to admit it. From day one, I told them, guys, you have to build your case in the world. You just suffered a genocide. You cannot be silent about it. And they still not say. But within a few weeks, the Hamas and the Palestinian Authority and the Arab, the Muslim world, 2 billion people managed somehow to turn the narrative upside down. It became a Palestinian genocide and a Palestinian ethnic cleansing, while all the evidence on the ground contradict their claims. So this is how fast, with the social media, how people are able to twist the narrative. I'm not saying people are not suffering in Gaza. You think we don't have hearts? You think, I've been with the soldiers. We cried. Those soldiers in Gaza right now fighting, they have family, they have children. You think they don't feel towards the children? But such an ugly situation that Hamas turned every sacred, every safe zone into a bloodbath. What would you do if you were in the situation? So now all these mediocres, they come and they hijack the situation and they spread hatred. This is their game. And it's really unbelievable. If I was watching a movie, I would think like, wow, this is unreal. This is the United States of America. You know, it's not only Israel is an ally of the United States, but for Israel, for all the values, the democratic values, to be accused of an apartheid, while we have 1.5 million Arab citizens in Israel that actually don't have equal responsibilities like the Jewish citizens, because they are not forced to serve in the IDF, while all the Jews are forced to go to the IDF, to serve in the military. The Arabs have the privilege not to go to war, but they still enjoy the rights as the rest of the country. How can you say that this is an apartheid? In my opinion, the Jewish citizens have a lot more risk than the Arab citizens of the State of Israel.
And by the way, there are Muslim and Christian and Jews, Arabs, citizens of Israel that do serve in the Israeli military. And there's also Jews that do not serve, and it's all good. I'm not opining on that. But when you say it's not an apartheid, they would say, what about Judea and Samaria, or the West Bank, or the Palestinian territories? You choose your terminology. Isn't that apartheid? They would say, or people are saying, well, Israel laid the siege on Gaza. Isn't that apartheid?
You see, this is the problem of what's so-called, I think, before the pro-Palestine or Free Palestine movement, there was the BDS, and there's still the BDS, where they recruited a huge number of intellectuals, historians, artists, actors, wherever they were able to reach, using, of course, the Arab oil money. These people are so twisted, I cannot even, it's beyond my comprehension. Because how can you take the values of democracy in the West and try to apply it to a region that does not actually believe in democracy? So, not taking consideration the security needs of a democracy that is under consistent threat by terrorists. So when we talk about the fence, I remember the waves of suicide bombing attacks. Was multiple suicide bombing attacks on a regular basis. We have dozens of those. And, Israel had no choice but to build the wall. Before this wall, my memory as a child, my father and I were able to drive our car from the town of Ramallah all the way to Yafo, to Tel Aviv, to the beach, to the zoo, pretty much every weekend. And nobody harassed us. We were able to just shop. We were able to enjoy the beach. This is my early memory as a child. There was not even one checkpoint. Things start changing immediately after the beginning of the first Palestinian Intifada. It started with the chant from the river to the sea. Very romantic. Soon later, it became stabbing. Shortly later, it became mass shooting. Within no time, it became suicide bombing attacks. What a democracy should do in a situation when they are not able to stop the people, an entire society. I don't want to say complicit, but the Palestinians praised suicide bombers as martyrs, as heroes of the nation. Look at my case. When I opposed that, I said, no, it's not good. It's bad. It's very bad to kill people indiscriminately. You know, Hamas did not kill people only on October 7. Hamas has a long history of suicide bombing attacks. They blow up universities, schools, buses, markets, beaches. They targeted everywhere. So Israel had to take some security measures. And again, even in the best democracy, when you are under consistent threat, there are exceptions. And some of the civil laws could be actually replaced with some emergency laws. Even the United States did this during the war against terrorism. So when you are under consistent threat, it's very different. But somebody can sit in comfort and say, hey, how about we take some of the Western values, the democratic values, and say, oh, look at Israel. They claim to be a democracy, but look how they're treating the Palestinians. Well, terrorists in prison, have they earned equal rights to decent citizens in civilization who know their responsibility and their obligation towards the other, who don't harm the others? Of course not. So sometimes when we are dealing with emergency situation, we cannot say and force the people in the Middle East to just act according our values. We sit here in the United States, we don't have suicide bombing attacks, we don't have missile attacks, we don't have infiltration on a regular basis. So we cannot take our values and force Israel to do the same while they are under war. We cannot force Israel to send and risk the lives of thousands of foot soldiers in order for us to reduce or minimize the civilian casualty, which Israel is already doing. But who are we to force Israel how to do the job? It's not our right.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.